The Krixian Dominion believed themselves unstoppable. Their fleets had crushed countless species, enslaved entire worlds, and shattered empires with ruthless efficiency. When they targeted the human colony on Alicia Prime, they thought it would be just another extermination, an example to others. But they were wrong. From the vantage point of the Galactic Union observer ship, I watched the carnage unfold with detached curiosity. The Krixians struck hard and fast, wiping out the colony with no warning. Billions perished in the blink of an eye. The survivors were rounded up, their technology stripped, their culture erased. The Dominion declared victory. They broadcasted their triumph across the stars, showcasing humanity's demise as a warning. The Galactic Union, a council of advanced alien civilizations sworn to peace, condemned the act. Yet, we underestimated what humanity was about to unleash. On Earth, news of the massacre reached every corner. It sparked something dark, a collective rage unlike any other. For centuries, humanity had been cautious, refined by diplomacy, reason, and a fragile veneer of civility. But that facade shattered in an instant. A new era dawned, one where humanity said to the stars, "Now we stop being civilized." The Krixians had awoken a sleeping beast. Humanity's response began with whispers in shadowy bunkers. Scientists worked furiously on weaponry that bent the laws of physics. Commanders trained warriors in brutal combat arts, honed for maximum efficiency and survival. And leaders forged alliances with unlikely partners, seeking strength beyond their planet. From the outside, the Galactic Union expected Earth's downfall. But instead, we saw the rise of something new, vengeful warriors fueled by pain and resolve. And thus, the stage was set for a clash that would ripple across galaxies. The Galactic Union's sensors detected the shift first. Earth's communications, once filled with routine transmissions and peaceful diplomacy, began to pulse with something different. Urgency mixed with an unmistakable undercurrent of defiance. From my station aboard the Union cruiser Valaris, I observed with increasing unease as human vessels began their retrofitting. Not just the usual starliners or scientific probes, but warships. Primitive by our standards, yes, but they carried the promise of something dangerous, the will to fight. I remember the faces of my fellow observers in the command room. The elder xenologist, Rethzon, murmured, "They burn with a fire we thought extinguished. They will not kneel." And so they did not. Across the solar system, Earth's leaders convened in the highest secrecy. The United Earth Coalition was born, a wartime government that cast aside the old bureaucratic chains. Their new mantra was simple and brutal: survival at any cost. Scientists like Dr. Evelyn Harper, the chief architect of Earth's new defense initiative, worked day and night. Their breakthroughs in adaptive shielding, gravity manipulation, and kinetic weaponry turned Earth's meager fleet into a potential thorn in the side of any invader. But the true power came from humanity's warriors. Units like the Iron Wolves, elite Marines trained not only in physical combat, but in psychological warfare. They were the embodiment of the old Earth spirit, hardened by loss, sharpened by rage. Their leader, Colonel Marcus Steele, was a man forged in the fires of tragedy. Once a diplomat, Steele lost his family in the Elysian massacre. Now, his voice was steel, his orders swift and unforgiving. Reports began flooding in. Small skirmishes at the fringe colonies where the Krixians dared to test humanity's resolve. The results were unexpected. Human ships, though outgunned, outmaneuvered the Krixian patrols. Human soldiers, though fewer, fought with a ferocity alien to the Dominion. One incident stood out: the battle at Leora Station, a mining outpost in the Andromeda sector. A small detachment of Iron Wolves held the station against a Krixian battalion 3 times their number. When the Galactic Union peacekeepers arrived, stunned to find the Krixians routed, the phrase was whispered in shock. "Now we stop being civilized." The phrase spread like wildfire among the Union species. Humanity's transformation unsettled us. For decades, the Galactic Union preached diplomacy, fairness, and peace. We had grown comfortable in the belief that no species could resist the logic of cooperation. But Earth shattered that illusion. In the shadow of Earth's fury, many Union members faced difficult choices. Some feared humanity's rise and sought to isolate them. Others, inspired by Earth's resilience, began questioning their own passive stance. I often wondered what it was that drove humanity beyond the brink. Was it simply vengeance? Or something deeper? A survival instinct sharpened by their history of conflict and hardship? In the quiet moments of my watch, I would replay intercepted transmissions, messages of loss, hope, and defiance. They spoke not just of war, but of something primal, a refusal to be extinguished. As Earth's fleets grew bolder, the Krixian Dominion responded with brutal reprisals. They sent death squads, chemical weapons, and propaganda campaigns. The Dominion sought to crush humanity's spirit by any means necessary. But the opposite occurred. Rather than breaking, humanity hardened. Entire worlds once on the fence sided with Earth, inspired by their unyielding stand. Small rebel factions within the Dominion's own ranks defected, unwilling to follow orders that defied all ethics. It was during this period that Earth's message to the stars became clear. You thought we were weak. You thought we would die quietly. Now we fight without mercy. From my station, I watched the Galactic Union convene emergency meetings. We debated intervention, neutrality, and the risks of siding with or against humanity. Opinions clashed violently. Some saw humans as a threat that could unravel centuries of peace. Others saw a species reborn, a potential ally in the harsh universe. But none could deny this truth. Earth was no longer the victim. It had become a force. The Galactic Union's chambers hummed with tension. Alien delegates from the farthest reaches of the galaxy debated humanity's unprecedented rise. Some whispered fears of an uncontrollable force. Others cautiously admired Earth's resilience. But no one could deny that the status quo was crumbling. From my vantage point on the Valaris, I witnessed the subtle shifts in the political landscape. The humans' defiance sparked conversations that once would have been unthinkable, about war, about power, about survival beyond the rules that had long bound us all. The Iron Wolves in the battle for Valtar. On the war front, the Iron Wolves prepared for their next mission, retaking Valtar, a resource-rich planet under Krixian control. Valtar's mining facilities were critical. The Krixians used them to fuel their war machine. Losing Valtar would slow them down, maybe irreparably. Colonel Marcus Steele stood before his battalion, his voice low but unyielding. "They took everything from us on Alicia. We take it back here. No mercy, no hesitation." The Iron Wolves moved swiftly, dropping from orbit in assault pods that screamed through Valtar's toxic atmosphere. The ground fight was brutal. Krixian soldiers fought with their typical cold efficiency, but the Iron Wolves were fueled by something the Dominion never understood: righteous fury. The battle raged for days. Casualties mounted on both sides. But with superior tactics, adaptive weaponry, and sheer determination, humanity pushed the Krixians back. In the war rooms of the Galactic Union, news of Valtar's liberation sent shockwaves. The Krixian Dominion was faltering in the face of humanity's unexpected ferocity. Diplomacy in flames. While the Iron Wolves fought on distant worlds, back on Earth, politics burned just as fiercely. President Laura Grant, a former diplomat turned wartime leader, faced a divided Earth coalition. Some factions urged negotiation with the Krixians, others demanded total war. During a tense summit broadcast across Earth's orbit, President Grant addressed the coalition. "We do not seek endless war, but we will never surrender." The Krixian Dominion believed they could crush us. Instead, they forged a new humanity, one that stands ready to defend every inch of our worlds. The coalition voted narrowly to escalate the war effort, but also opened channels for limited peace talks, a calculated move to buy time and divide Dominion leadership. An unexpected ally. In the shadows of this galactic upheaval, a new player emerged. The Cerati Collective, a species long marginalized by the Union, sent envoys to Earth. Their leader, a tall, shimmering figure named Thalrin, offered assistance. "We see your struggle," Thalrin said. "We, too, have known oppression. Our technology can aid your cause, but trust must be earned." President Grant accepted cautiously. The alliance brought advanced Cerati tech, cloaking devices, energy shields, gifts that would tip battles in humanity's favor. But trust was fragile. Many on Earth worried. Were the Cerati truly allies or opportunists? The Galactic Union's dilemma. Within the Union, factions hardened. The Peacekeepers, an elite force dedicated to preventing war, pushed for intervention against humanity. They feared Earth's transformation into a war machine threatened galactic stability. The realists argued Earth had a right to defend itself, perhaps even to exact justice. Council meetings turned into battlegrounds of ideology. As an observer, I could sense the ancient order fracturing under the weight of a single species' will to survive. The Krixian retaliation. The Krixians, humiliated by losses, struck back viciously. Their flagship, the Obsidian Fury, led a devastating strike on Luna Station, Earth's primary orbital defense hub. The battle was catastrophic, with heavy casualties on both sides. But Earth's forces held firm, demonstrating resilience that confounded even the most seasoned Union commanders. Humanity's message. Through it all, humanity's message was clear and unyielding. You thought we were weak. You thought we would bend. We are fire. We are fury. And now we stop being civilized. The galaxy had changed forever. The Krixian Dominion's assault on humanity had not just failed. It had ignited a storm no one could control. From the bridge of the Union cruiser Valaris, I continued to witness Earth's relentless evolution. It was no longer a fledgling species. It was a reckoning. The price of war. Back on Earth, the war had taken its toll. Cities lay in ruins, families shattered, and hope often flickered like a dying ember. But despite this suffering, the human spirit endured. Dr. Evelyn Harper walked through the shattered research labs of New Chicago's orbital complex. Each day, she wrestled with the ethics of her work. The weapons she helped create had saved millions. But at what cost? Her assistant, a young engineer named Jonah, looked up, eyes wide with fatigue and resolve. "We're doing what we must. The Krixians don't stop." Harper nodded. "Still, we can't lose ourselves in this fight. We must protect who we are, even if it means changing." Alien eyes on humanity. From my post, I observed the varied reactions within the Galactic Union. Some species recoiled in fear. The Valerian Consulate, a peaceful aquatic race, called for an immediate ceasefire and humanitarian aid. Others, like the Threxian War Council, whispered of preemptive strikes to contain humanity. I, an analyst of alien cultures, found myself torn. Humanity's passion was raw, unpredictable, frightening. But beneath the rage was something else, a fierce loyalty, a deep protectiveness. They fought not for conquest, but to defend their home. The rise of the Guardians. In the shadows of war, new human factions arose. The Guardians of Terra, a coalition of warriors, diplomats, and scientists, vowed to protect Earth and the innocent beyond. Captain Sarah Monroe, a former space pilot turned Guardian, embodied this new hope. She led peacekeeping missions to rebel worlds torn between the Dominion and Earth's influence. Her resolve was unshakable. During a tense negotiation on the fringe planet Carolus, Monroe faced a council of neutral alien leaders skeptical of Earth's intentions. "We don't seek domination," she said firmly. "We seek survival. And if that means protecting others from tyranny, so be it." Her words planted seeds of alliance where none had been before. The Krixian shadow. But the Krixians were relentless. Their high command of Rakthal was ruthless and cunning. He unleashed covert operations to sabotage Earth's allies and destabilize the coalition. One such attack hit the mining colony of Arcturus 9, plunging it into chaos and forcing the Galactic Union's peacekeepers into a rare combat role. The violence underscored a bitter truth. The war had spread beyond Earth. The entire galaxy was now a battlefield. Galactic politics fracture. The Union's political structure strained under the conflict's weight. Traditional alliances faltered. Some member species pushed for harsher sanctions against the Krixians, while others sought a balanced approach. During a critical council session, Ambassador Krell of the Cerati Collective delivered a fiery speech. "This war tests the Union's very soul. We must choose, uphold peace through weakness or adapt to survive. Humanity shows us the path." His words stirred debates that would reshape the Union's future. Humanity's resolve. Amid the chaos, humanity's mantra echoed through space and time. "Now we stop being civilized." It was a declaration not of savagery, but of unyielding will, a refusal to be erased. And so, as shadows deepened and battles raged, Earth's story continued. One of pain, vengeance, hope, and transformation. The war had stretched far beyond Earth's orbit. Its ripples felt across countless star systems. From the observation deck of the Valaris, I noted the growing complexity of this conflict. No longer a simple war of survival, but a sprawling clash of ideology, culture, and raw willpower. Earth's new face. Earth was changing. Cities rebuilt with layers of armor defenses, streets buzzing with soldiers and engineers alike. The United Earth Coalition had transformed into a war machine, relentless, efficient, and unyielding. Yet beneath this military might lay an undercurrent of tension. Civilians, weary from years of conflict, questioned the cost of humanity's vengeance. In New Chicago, President Laura Grant walked among the people, addressing crowds with unwavering determination. "We fight not for hate, but to protect the future of our children. We are the shield that will not break." Her speeches inspired many but also stoked fears among those who remembered a time of peace. The Iron Wolves' new mission. Colonel Marcus Steele led his battalion deeper into Krixian-held space. Their objective: sabotage a key Dominion weapon factory on the harsh, volcanic world of Zorith. The mission was dangerous, far from support, deep behind enemy lines. Steele's soldiers moved like ghosts through the fiery wastelands, striking with brutal precision. The factory's destruction crippled the Dominion's weapon production, a critical blow. Yet, Steele knew the cost. Every success drew harsher retaliation. A meeting of minds. Meanwhile, aboard the Valaris, I was invited to an unprecedented diplomatic gathering, a summit between human leaders, the Cerati Collective, and representatives of the Galactic Union's more moderate factions. President Grant, Ambassador Thalrin, and Counselor Merak of the Valerian Consulate debated Earth's future. Grant spoke with fierce pride. Humanity will not be shackled by past mistakes or the fear of our own nature. We have seen the abyss and chosen to fight. Thalrin added, we must remember survival is not only strength but wisdom. Alliances forged in fire must be tempered with trust. Merak urged caution. The galaxy cannot endure endless war. There must be limits. The discussion revealed cracks, not just between species, but within humanity itself. The Krixian Gambit. High Commander Vrakthal unleashed a new weapon, a stealth fleet capable of evading Union sensors. These shadow ships struck swiftly, hitting supply lines and mining colonies, aiming to choke Earth's allies into submission. The Union scrambled to respond, but the Krixians' tactics were unpredictable and brutal. In one chilling attack on the peaceful world of Dathra, civilians were caught in the crossfire, reigniting outrage across the galaxy. The Guardians stand. Captain Sarah Monroe and the Guardians of Terra organized rescue and defense missions, ferrying refugees and holding contested worlds. On the jungle moon of Zephyra, Monroe faced an impossible choice: evacuate civilians risking lives or hold the line against overwhelming Dominion forces. Her decision to stand and fight became a legend, inspiring countless others to join the cause. The Galactic Union's breaking point. Within the Union, factionalism deepened. The Peacekeepers, frustrated by inaction, began covert operations against Krixian fleets without Council approval. The Realists pushed for greater support of Earth's war effort, fearing the Dominion's collapse could lead to chaos. I could see the old order fracturing, the galaxy hurtling toward an uncertain future. Humanity's dark promise. From Earth's leaders to the frontline warriors, one message echoed louder than ever. We will no longer be victims. We will no longer be civilized in the old ways. We will fight until the stars know our name. The war between humanity and the Krixian Dominion had become more than a conflict. It was a crucible reshaping the galaxy's very fabric. From my vantage on the Valeris, I observed shifting alliances, desperate battles, and the profound transformation of species once underestimated. The Battle of Viridian Prime. Viridian Prime, a lush, resource-rich planet at the edge of Union space, had become the war's newest flashpoint. The Dominion sought to seize it to regain lost ground. Humanity vowed to defend it at all costs. Colonel Marcus Steele's Iron Wolves spearheaded the defense. Their battle tactics had evolved, combining guerrilla warfare with cutting-edge tech from the Cerati Collective. Steele coordinated with Captain Sarah Monroe, whose Guardians provided critical support. The fight was brutal. Krixian shock troops deployed devastating energy weapons while human forces used adaptive shields and drone swarms. Cities turned to battlefields. Jungles echoed with explosions. Despite being outnumbered, humanity held firm. Steele's rallying cry: "We are the storm, the fury, the fire that will burn through tyranny," spurred his soldiers onward. The Galactic Union divided. The Union's council was fractured. Ambassador Krell of the Cerati Collective pressed for a formal alliance with Earth, arguing humanity's resilience was a vital asset. But many elders hesitated, wary of upsetting the fragile galactic balance. In a tense session, Ambassador Vex of the Threxian War Council challenged, "We risk destabilizing everything. Are we ready for a war that could engulf us all?" The debate ended without consensus, leaving Earth and its allies to fight largely on their own. Earth's internal struggles. While the battlefield raged, Earth grappled with internal conflict. Civilians weary of endless war clashed with militant factions demanding total victory. President Laura Grant faced increasing pressure. Her administration balanced rebuilding efforts with military expansion, but cracks appeared. Dr. Evelyn Harper, haunted by the horrors her inventions caused, secretly advocated for peace negotiations. Her attempts brought her into conflict with Colonel Steele, who saw mercy as weakness. Their arguments symbolized a larger question: how much humanity could change without losing itself. The Krixian Shadow War. High Commander Vrakthal escalated covert strikes. His assassins targeted key leaders, sowing distrust among Earth's coalition. Sabotage and misinformation campaigns tested human unity. A critical attack on the orbital city of Helios Prime nearly toppled Earth's command center. Thanks to quick action by the Guardians, catastrophe was averted. A new hope. Amidst the turmoil, a breakthrough came. Scientists developed a prototype weapon capable of disrupting Krixian stealth technology, turning the tide in several skirmishes. Captain Monroe led the first mission using this new tech, ambushing a Krixian fleet near the moon of Kaldor. The victory boosted morale across Earth and its allies. Humanity's resolve hardens. The phrase, "Now we stop being civilized," took on new meaning. Not chaos, but disciplined ferocity. Humanity had transformed from victims into warriors and protectors. From my alien perspective, it was awe-inspiring and terrifying. The galaxy held its breath. The war that had begun with the Krixian Dominion's brutal annihilation of a human colony had spiraled into a conflict shaking the very foundation of the Galactic Union. From the bridge of the Valaris, I watched as humanity's transformation continued unabated, now a force both revered and feared. The siege of Solaris Station. Solaris Station, a massive orbital fortress above Earth's sister planet, Luna 2, became the focal point of one of the bloodiest sieges in recent history. The Dominion sought to crush humanity's orbital defenses to pave the way for a full-scale invasion. Colonel Marcus Steele and Captain Sarah Monroe coordinated a desperate defense with exhausted troops and battered fleets. The station's defensive arrays blazed with fire as waves of Krixian bombers and boarding parties assaulted relentlessly. The Iron Wolves, veterans of countless battles, fought with a relentless ferocity that stunned even their alien allies. Each corridor became a battleground, with hand-to-hand combat echoing the primal survival instincts long buried beneath humanity's former civility. Political turmoil on Earth. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the prolonged conflict strained the social fabric. Protests erupted in the sprawling cities, demanding peace and an end to the endless cycle of violence. President Laura Grant, once the unifying symbol of resistance, faced mounting opposition. New factions formed, some advocating for unconditional surrender to save lives, others calling for an even more ruthless prosecution of the war. The tension reached a boiling point when Dr. Evelyn Harper publicly leaked classified research on experimental weapons, exposing the ethical compromises made in the name of survival. The leak ignited fierce debate and polarized the population. The Galactic Union's crisis. The Union itself was at war within. Factions aligned with Earth clashed with those urging restraint, fearful that the conflict would engulf the entire galaxy. Ambassador Thalrin of the Serity Collective argued passionately for support. Humanity is no longer the prey, but the predator. We must stand with them or fall behind. Opposing voices, led by Ambassador Vex, warned, "Their fire will burn all of us if we do not temper their rage." Amid the chaos, secret back-channel talks between Union factions and the Krixian Dominion hinted at an uneasy truce, but one fragile as glass. The rise of the Guardians' new leader. Captain Sarah Monroe's leadership was tested like never before. Following the devastating losses at Solaris Station, she emerged as a beacon of hope. In a stirring address broadcast galaxy-wide, Monroe declared, "We fight not for conquest, but to protect the innocent and to ensure the horrors of the past never repeat." Her charisma united disparate human factions and inspired alien allies. The Guardians of Terra expanded, recruiting diplomats and warriors alike, bridging the gap between war and peace. The Krixian counterstrike. High Commander Vrakthal, undeterred by losses, launched a surprise offensive on Earth's remote mining colonies. His forces aimed to cripple humanity's resource network and force them to the negotiating table. The attack was swift and brutal, catching defenders off guard. Entire colonies fell, refugees streaming toward Earth's core worlds. The alien perspective. From the Valaris, I pondered the irony. The species we once pitted had become the galaxy's fiercest storm. Humanity's refusal to bow to devastation was both inspiring and terrifying. Their struggle forced the Galactic Union to question everything: our ideals, our strength, and our very survival. Humanity's new creed. In whispered corners of war zones and council chambers alike, the phrase resonated with newfound power. Now we stopped being civilized. It was no longer a threat of chaos, but a promise of relentless justice and protection. The war had entered a new phase, one marked by desperation, cunning, and the blurred lines between heroism and sacrifice. From my post on Valaris, I watched as humanity's relentless drive continued to reshape the galaxy's fate. The shattered peace talks. Secret negotiations between the Galactic Union, the Krixian Dominion, and Earth's leaders had raised hopes for a fragile ceasefire. But the fragile threads of trust unraveled quickly. At the summit on the neutral world of Serenus IV, tension crackled like static electricity. Ambassador Krell of the Cerati Collective urged compromise. Peace is the only path forward. We cannot afford endless bloodshed. But High Commander Vrakthal, arrogant and unrepentant, refused to concede. His cold words cut through the room. Humanity is a disease that must be eradicated. Any truce is a delay before their destruction. President Laura Grant, weary but resolute, responded with equal fire. We will never submit to genocide. Your words only strengthen our resolve. The talks collapsed, plunging the galaxy back into chaos. The battle for Arcturus 9. The mining colony of Arcturus 9, once a quiet outpost, became a symbol of humanity's resilience. After its devastating assault by Krixian forces, Earth dispatched a massive relief and counterattack force. Colonel Steele led the charge. His Iron Wolves fought fiercely alongside Guardians and Cerati allies. The battle raged across frozen plains and subterranean tunnels, a brutal clash of wills and technology. Casualties mounted, and the harsh environment tested even the toughest soldiers. Yet, the defenders held, turning Arcturus 9 into a fortress and rallying point for the war effort. The internal rift. On Earth, the strain of war fractured society. Dr. Evelyn Harper's leaked documents sparked a fierce debate. Had humanity sacrificed its soul in pursuit of survival? Protests and riots erupted in major cities, demanding an end to weapons experimentation and a return to diplomacy. Militants decried these calls as weakness. President Grant struggled to maintain unity. In a rare public address, she appealed for patience and strength. We fight for a future where peace is earned, not given. We must stand together or fall divided. The Guardians' new mission. Captain Sarah Monroe's Guardians took on a critical role beyond combat. Tasked with humanitarian efforts, they facilitated refugee evacuations, rebuilt infrastructure, and brokered alliances with neutral worlds. During a tense mission on the planet Calvian, Monroe faced a moral dilemma. Rebel factions sought to use civilians as shields against Dominion attacks. Her decision to prioritize civilian lives over immediate military advantage showcased the new complexity of war. The Galactic Union's fracture. Within the Union, divisions hardened into outright conflict. The peacekeepers, frustrated by endless bloodshed, launched unauthorized strikes against Dominion targets, sparking condemnation and accusations of war crimes. Realist factions called for empowering Earth and its allies, believing humanity's fierce spirit was the galaxy's best hope. As an observer, sensed the Union's fragile unity was on the brink of collapse. Humanity's resolve. Despite setbacks, humanity's battle cry grew louder, echoing through every battlefield and council chamber. Now we stopped being civilized. No longer a mere slogan. It was a creed forged in fire, pain, and unyielding determination. The galaxy was aflame. The war that began with the cold annihilation of a single human colony had grown into a sprawling, merciless conflict that tested the limits of every species and the fabric of the Galactic Union itself. From the command deck of the Valaris, I witnessed the turning points, the heroics, and the tragedies that would define an era. The Siege of Helios Prime. Helios Prime, a vital orbital hub and symbol of Earth's defiance, came under siege by the Krixian Dominion's most brutal forces. The station's sprawling complexes, once bustling with scientists, diplomats, and soldiers, were transformed into a fortress fighting for survival. Colonel Marcus Steele's Iron Wolves spearheaded the defense alongside Captain Sarah Monroe's Guardians. The battle was fierce and unforgiving. Corridors turned into battlegrounds. Airlocks blasted open to reveal Krixian shock troops, and the hum of energy weapons became a grim soundtrack. Steele, hardened by loss yet unwavering, led daring counterattacks that pushed the enemy back from the station's core systems. Monroe coordinated rescue operations, ferrying civilians from the embattled station under constant fire. Earth's leadership tested. Back on Earth, President Laura Grant faced her most harrowing challenge. Public dissent surged. War weariness crept into the hearts of her people, and political factions demanded change, some for peace, others for absolute victory. In a pivotal council session broadcast across Earth's networks, Grant faced fierce opposition. Yet, her unwavering conviction rallied many. We fight not because we crave war, but because we refuse to be extinguished. Our fight is for survival, for justice, for the future. The Krixian Shadow Offensive. High Commander Vrakthal unveiled a new campaign, a covert operation targeting Earth's critical supply lines and communication networks. Using stealth fleets and infiltrators, the Dominion aimed to cripple humanity's ability to wage war. The campaign sowed chaos, forcing Earth's commanders to divert forces from the front lines. It was a reminder that the war was not only fought with weapons, but with cunning and subterfuge. The Guardians' diplomacy. Captain Monroe's role evolved beyond the battlefield. She led diplomatic missions to rally neutral systems to Earth's cause, seeking to build a coalition strong enough to counter the Dominion. Her efforts met with mixed success. Some worlds joined eagerly, inspired by humanity's resilience. Others hesitated, wary of the escalating conflict. The Galactic Union's fracture deepens. The Union's fragile peace shattered further. Factions clashed openly. Peacekeepers condemned Earth's militarization, Realists pushed for total war against the Krixians, and others sought fragile compromises. Amidst this turmoil, secret negotiations between the Dominion and some Union members hinted at betrayal and shifting allegiances. Humanity's dark transformation. Throughout the galaxy, the phrase echoed with growing power. Now we stopped being civilized. It was no longer merely a cry of defiance, but a testament to humanity's transformation. From victims to fierce warriors, from desperate survivors to protectors of all who suffered tyranny. The war had consumed the galaxy for years, shattered alliances, razed worlds, and countless lives lost. Yet, from the ashes rose a force unlike any the universe had seen. Humanity, once the hunted, now stood as the guardian of the stars. From the command deck of the Valaris, I bore witness to the final chapter of this monumental struggle. The last stand at Alicia Prime. The site of humanity's greatest tragedy, the original Alicia Prime colony, became the stage for the war's decisive battle. The Krixian Dominion amassed their remaining forces, determined to crush Earth's rebellion once and for all. Colonel Marcus Steele's Iron Wolves and Captain Sarah Monroe's Guardians formed the spearhead of the defense. They were bolstered by an unprecedented coalition of Galactic Union allies, including the Cerati Collective and Valerian Consulate. The battle was cataclysmic. Krixian warships blasted the planet's surface, while ground troops clashed in brutal combat. Cities burned, forests fell, and the sky was filled with streaks of plasma and fire. Steele, wounded but unbroken, rallied his troops. We fight not just for revenge, but for a future where no species is erased by tyranny. The Galactic Union's role. The fractured Galactic Union finally united, recognizing the stakes. Ambassadors set aside their differences, pledging full support to humanity's cause. In a historic moment, the Union's peacekeepers coordinated with Earth's forces, combining their strength to counter the Dominion's final assault. The fall of the Krixian Dominion. High Commander Vrakthal, cornered and desperate, unleashed his last gambit, a superweapon capable of obliterating entire star systems. But the weapon was destroyed in a daring raid led by Captain Monroe, who sacrificed her ship to deliver the fatal blow. With their command structure shattered and hope extinguished, the Krixian forces crumbled. The Dominion's reign of terror ended. Humanity's transformation complete. In the aftermath, humanity stood changed. No longer the civilized species they once were, but warriors tempered by fire and compassion forged in blood. President Laura Grant addressed the galaxy. We stopped being civilized not to become monsters, but to become protectors. We will guard this peace with every fiber of our being. The legacy. From the ashes of war, new alliances were born. Humanity and the Galactic Union forged a future based on mutual respect and vigilance. I, an alien observer, recorded this epic with awe. The story of Earth's darkest hours and brightest light. A species that refused extinction, choosing instead to become legends.